Hello, welcome to today's webinar. I'm Sarah Ray, the editor of Smart Cities World. Today we're going to be talking about the role of IoT platforms in smart cities. And over the next hour, we'll be sharing some of the key findings from our latest research report about IoT opportunities in smart cities. We'll be hearing from Scott McCarley, Senior Director of Solutions Management at PTC, as well as Sanjeev Kumar, Head of Smart Cities Global at Tech Mahindra. A quick bit of housekeeping before we start. After the short presentations, we'll move into a Q&A. We encourage you to send your questions in. On the control panel on your screen, you'll see a chat box. Write your question in there and press send, and we'll aim to answer as many questions as we can today. So you can just send the questions at any time throughout the webinar. The session is being recorded, and after the webinar finishes, we'll be sending out an email with a link so that you can watch it again whenever is convenient for you. So let's get started and take a look at our recent research to set the scene. At Smart Cities World, we teamed up with PTC to find out more about the opportunities that IoT offers for businesses such as telcos, systems integrators, and vertical solutions developers. 147 respondents told us about where they see the biggest areas for growth, the challenges they face in tapping the full potential, and the progress that they're making. Our key finding was that these companies see IoT as key to their future success. 37% of the respondents, over a third, identified IoT as vital to survival, and they say they're actively pursuing new opportunities. 44% said IoT is important and that they are looking to diversify into new areas related to it. And just 15% said IoT is something they should participate in, but they have not made any moves into the market yet. So this was an interesting finding coming at a time when traditional telco service revenues from voice and messaging are flatlining, and showing that these businesses are looking to IoT to create some new much needed revenues. The respondents told us that smart city is one of the biggest areas of potential that they see, and they pinpointed the biggest IoT opportunities as smart buildings, energy, lighting, and smart parking. And over half told us that they're planning to pursue these verticals. Transportation and security are also seen as promising areas, and 44% told us that they're working on solutions in this area. Another interesting finding was that respondents told us that blockchain came up as an emerging area, with companies noting that they're interested in developing blockchain-based products or integrating blockchain technology into their solutions. And it was good to hear that citizen engagement tools are also seen as a growing opportunity. So we hope to see some more good tools in that area soon. We thought that these findings highlight the importance of acting now, as once cities and other customers choose services such as lighting and parking, they're unlikely to change them again quickly. It's more likely that these services will provide the foundation for adding and connecting further services. When asked what's impeding the IoT in smart cities, survey respondents said the most pressing issue is overcoming traditional mindsets, as well as siloed thinking that is organised around departments or vertical solutions. This was followed by traditional city procurement and budgeting, which was closely followed by a lack of collaboration between stakeholders. It was clear from our research that in order to succeed in the Internet of Things and tap the growing smart city opportunity, speed is crucial, as is agility, particularly in this environment where services and offerings must constantly evolve along with customers' needs. This means solutions providers increasingly need to be able to bring information from different assets together quickly. On average, our survey respondents said 53% of their business already involves integrating a number of open systems, and they expect this to grow significantly over the next 18 months. In order to tackle these challenges and grasp the opportunities, many of the companies surveyed said they are developing their IoT solutions using an IoT platform. They said the IoT platform approach is strategically important for integration across different smart city areas, for example, solutions that span water, power, infrastructure, security, for example, and also important to improve outcomes for city customers and achieve faster time to market. For example, one of our case studies in the report, Aquamatics, which develops IoT water management solutions, told us that using an IoT platform to develop new products and solutions slashed both development time and costs by 80%. You can read this case study in more detail in the report. Respondents said they also saw IoT platforms as important for delivering a flexible and open ecosystem and facilitating innovation. These advantages were closely followed by reaping benefits from being part of an ecosystem. Another of our case studies, Swiss energy technology company Depsys, noted that they're in the emerging smart grid market, but are positioning themselves to develop rapid solutions at scale. They see that there will be an increasing merge of several technologies, such as smart grid merging with smart home systems, for example. And this will add another level of complexity because you have to communicate not only between your own systems, but also with other systems. The company told us that using an IoT platform helps here, both with the adoption of standards and the fact that the ability to deploy new protocols is already built in. A number of companies commented that the Lego block approach that good platforms offer enables them to add new functionality and integrations continuously. One thing that was clear in our research was there is still some confusion about IoT platforms. There are many different types on the market. While some focus on specific verticals or particular areas such as connectivity, video surveillance, etc., a growing number focus on a broader range of functionality and the horizontal integration required in smart cities. One quite surprising finding was that some companies are still using their own in-house IoT platforms. So I think that's a good place to hand over to Scott, who can tell us much more about what an IoT platform can do, the pros and cons of different types of platforms, and how the technology is likely to develop in the future. Scott,
all right.
Would you...
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. And that's great research. And thank you, everyone, for joining the webinar today. So all of you on the webinar are likely considering IoT as a fundamental part of your smart city strategy. And during my time today, I'd like to quickly give a perspective where the smart city journey is headed and how IoT platforms stand to deliver transformative change, and then provide you with considerations about how to quickly deliver IoT-based solutions that provide immediate value while also setting a technology foundation to deliver continuous improvement and to meet the long-term strategy goals of your business, your cities, and your customers. Let's see if I click this once or twice. Apologies here. Okay, so permit me a moment just to introduce PTC. For those of you who aren't familiar with PTC, we're a public 6,000-person software company, and our mission is to bridge the digital and the physical worlds. So I think this portfolio slide does a great job framing up our expertise, as well as the crucial role that partners play, which is especially important for smart cities. So for the past 30 years, PTC and our product lifecycle management solutions have been at the leading edge of enabling the digital definition and lifecycle management of things. Next, shown here, is our industrial innovation platform, and it's the fastest way for companies to unlock value at the new frontier of innovation. It connects to, analyzes the data from, and creates applications and new experiences for the physical world. So this brings together decades of experience in IoT and augmented reality. Additionally, we want our customers and partners to realize value quickly. So we've leveraged our own industrial process expertise and built accelerators And these are for the most common industrial IoT use cases. For example, to improve industrial operation processes, such as remotely monitoring and maintaining assets. For that, we've created ThingWorx Asset Advisor and Controls Advisor. And finally, in this stack, we have our partner solutions. And we've got a tremendous partner ecosystem that builds on top of PTC's best-in-class technology to create their own apps and custom offerings that they bring to market. So at PTC, we don't build or sell smart city applications. Instead, we provide the IoT tools, ecosystem, and rapid application development environment to enable our partners, such as Vodafone and Tech Mahindra on this webinar today, to deliver game-changing smart city solutions. If I click once or twice here. So I wanted to give a perspective from leading analyst firms and research firms. Let me just make sure I get to the next slide here. So this is research from Forrester, IDC, and Navigant Research, all of whom put out IoT software platform research reports. And each of these leading firms recognize PTC as a leading IoT platform provider. Gartner just released its first ever Magic Quadrant for industrial IoT platforms, and PTC was placed in the most favorable position, highest for the ability to execute, and so this slide here, this is an adaptation from a great framework created for Harvard Business Review. It was written by PTC's CEO, Jim Heppelmann, and Professor Michael Porter of Harvard Business School. So this adaptation highlights the evolution of smart city assets and where the smart city journey is headed to delivering a system of systems. And we could have used almost any asset in the city to begin this framework, but here we use the well-recognized streetlight. And from Sarah's research, it's a popular use case. So, first software and sensors are added to make a smart asset, and so the light can go on and off and can be controlled or sense when the sun is up and down and turn itself on and off. But then we added connectivity to make it a smart connected asset, right? And that enables us to have a little bit more refined control, dim the lights, or more, across the city to save some energy, identify, allow the light to tell us when lights are out, or the street light to tell us when the bulb needs to be replaced. So there's real value there. But where most people are thinking today is using the light as part of a connected system, where you use the physical infrastructure of the light as well as the connectivity, the power to provide other applications, right? So you might have cameras doing smart parking from the light. You have traffic queue length monitoring that might be controlling downstream some of the traffic light and flow of traffic. You have safety applications such as gunshot detection. And this is where really I think the market is focused today. And where I want our audience and cities and for people to be thinking about, where PTC is focused, is really on the next step, the system of systems, right? So that light post, the city infrastructure, is really part of a larger system of systems that includes the power grid, buildings, as well as the water systems. And it's when these systems come together that we can really deliver transformative change and really deliver the promise of smart cities. So just to take a few examples, in the water network, the number one cost is electricity. Variable pricing, or the pricing is most effective. We could save, reduce the number one cost for our water systems. From the grid perspective, as we're injecting all this new renewable energy, it's creating some instability, and they're looking to buildings to help with that through demand response programs or through battery storage. So if buildings could be a prime participant in the grid, there'd be huge benefits for all consumers as well as the utilities. Additionally, what buildings don't, most buildings typically come with parking and lighting, exterior and interior, as well as now new systems for gray water recycling. So these systems all play together, and it's when we can connect them together that we can really achieve huge transformative new value and deliver real change. So most people here, when you talk through that story, they think, oh, absolutely, those are, the objectives I have, but where do I start, right? There are a multitude of potential applications. Each one will be different for your business, right? You'll have your own business area of expertise. But people look across the smart city landscape and they're unsure where to start. Well, typically what happens is someone identifies one use case and delivers an IoT project point solution. This is a very tactical approach, right? So they might select building energy management because of their core business, and they seek that one solution, right, as a point project. That means they build the entire IoT stack on the backs of this one application. The development process is slow. If they, as soon as they release it to market, there are additional changes that are required and can be hard to implement. Very few smart city applications look the same in one city to the other. There's a lot of modification. So these point projects tend to deliver very rigid, slow, and expensive solutions. And most, or perhaps most, it's not enabling that system of systems. A strategic approach would leverage an IoT platform and look at each solution as part of a holistic system where we want not only all of the solutions to be interoperable in terms of being able to share information, but we want to be able to, in fact, share code, share communication, share new protocols. So we want to enable the amount of people developing to increase, make each new solution easier to deliver and to be able to stand on the shoulders of the previous solutions. Additionally, we know that each time we deploy something, we're going to need to modify it and extend it, make it scalable. So using an IoT platform really delivers on those value props. Additionally, it provides common security and creates a very fast deployment scheme. So as you look to IoT platforms and consider how can you leverage an IoT platform in an ecosystem to deliver your smart city business or to enable your smart city business, there are really three main ways. The first of which is that you can leverage an IoT platform to rapidly develop new smart city solutions. We'll talk more about these individually in a moment. The second way is that you can leverage pre-built out-of-the-box smart city solutions that have already been created by other ThingWorx solution providers. The third way is that you can leverage the platform to integrate the IT and OT devices and systems in your or your customers' environments to enable new insights and really deliver that system of systems. So we're going to talk through these three different mechanisms here. So the first, and really this is something that you need to consider fundamental to an IoT platform, the platform should help you more rapidly deliver new smart city solutions, right? The time to solution delivery is critical for your business. And the core reason for being for a platform is to enable you to deliver that more quickly and find more value and do things you couldn't do previously. So you can leverage ThingWorx, for example, here to enable new game-changing smart city applications. With ThingWorx, you're going to be able to connect to any device, so leveraging hundreds of industry protocols. You can be able to deploy your solution in any cloud environment. Some cities will require one cloud infrastructure, others will require on-prem. You need to be able to deploy into each of these and build perhaps in each of these. So with ThingWorx, you might work in Azure, AWS, or on-premise or other cloud infrastructures, or maybe even your own. Additionally, it's fundamental is rapidly developing applications, and this is creating the visual model. So as you bring information from other different systems together, you need to put it in context, right? And that's rapidly creating a digital representation of the physical world, what we call modeling, and it's done visually. Creating the application can be done through drag and drop methods, so really fast delivery. And additionally, you can leverage those accelerators that I was talking about to do some of the most commonly necessary IoT functions. With a platform, you'll deliver scale, robustness, and security, and now be able to do new things you probably never even thought were possible, such as delivering augmented reality experiences, leveraging everything you just built, right? So just delivering augmented reality on top of the application that you've already built. Additionally, things like anomaly detection, all sorts of analytics, and to have the support of an ecosystem of SIs such as Tech Mahindra, as well as a marketplace of additional solutions and elements that you can bring as part of your solution. So just taking a look at some of the solution providers, the example who built out-of-the-box solutions, and these are domain experts that are in our ecosystem, and just a sampling of some. Sarah talked about a few of these. these companies bring not just complete solutions, but domain expertise. And in a smart city, it's an ecosystem play. So having partners ready to work with you is critical. So we'll just talk through a couple of these. CenturyLink has a great building energy management solution. Depsys, Sarah talked about for their smart grid capabilities, and as well Aquamatics for water monitoring. But there are numerous solutions across all of the areas of smart cities and partners who are eager to work with you if you desire. I also wanted to give you a perspective of what it means to integrate some of the devices together across the city landscape to provide a system of systems. And this is occurring in a major U.S. city where they're leveraging ThingWorx as an integrated IoT platform to bring together all of their data and really provide a system of system perspective. So they'll have some solutions that exist that have been pre-built, maybe exist on-premise, and those are their pre-existing solutions and systems. They need a mechanism to get at that data. They'll have vendor relationships, some who have built solutions, others who are bringing new solutions to market, some in Azure, some on AWS. And they want to maintain these multiple vendor relationships in different cloud environments, but have some method to integrate with that data and provide context as part of a system of system, and that's how ThingWorx is being used here. From a fundamental piece, they're pulling data from all of these different sources in different cloud environments, and they're building it together, pulling it together to build new insights and new applications that can take action and deliver value on that data. So the speed of application delivery is critical. So on the left-hand side, we see different types of assets across the city with sensor information flowing into these different areas or into the different environments, and all being pulled together into a ThingWorx platform that could exist in multiple ways in these different infrastructure environments. So providing context around all of the data and really not being the system of record, but the system of engagement for it, so that you get that holistic system of systems access of data across your pre-existing environment, as well as building new solutions. So one partner we're working with that's delivering that system of system infrastructure like we just saw is Vodafone. And so they're having great success in working globally. And this is a nice quote from them where they're talking about bringing in data from all existing different systems in a flexible and adaptive way, and being able to deliver new insights. Additionally, I'd mention that Tech Mahindra is an excellent partner, and we're very excited to be working with them as both a master system integrator and as a resource for our ecosystem to bring expertise in ThingWorx development and smart cities in general. So they too, we look at them as a fundamental partner across delivering individual solutions, working with our partners, and delivering that system of system. With that, I'd like to introduce Sanjeev and turn it over to you, and I look forward to answering questions later.
Thanks, Scott. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are and how you are today. Very warm welcome to this webinar. I'm Sanjeev Kumar, leading smart cities in Tech Mahindra, and I'm mainly responsible for global markets. In the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to share with you how Tech Mahindra, as a master system integrator, is contributing in smart cities space and trying to make the citizens' life better through adoption of technologies. In our pursuit of doing so, how an IoT platform strategy is really helping us in achieving our objectives. So I'll go with explaining that what we do into this space and how the IoT platform is useful for us. So first, let me introduce my company Tech Mahindra to you. We are part of Mahindra Group, an Indian multinational conglomerate with operations spread across more than 100 countries around the globe. Mahindra Group has a presence in aerospace, agribusiness, automotive, construction, defense, retail, and so on. You can see that on the slide. Tech Mahindra is an IT arm of Mahindra Group with more than 110 employees operating in about 90 plus countries. We help our customers in the journey of digital transformation and focus very heavily on IoT and smart cities, which is the topic for today. So with this short introduction, let me straight away jump to what we do in IoT and smart cities space. So Tech Mahindra, as I said, is a master system integrator in IoT and smart cities space. We create complex systems. Let me just go one slide back. Here it is. Sorry about that. So we create complex systems by bringing the right blend of technologies, covering devices, networks, protocol, data strategies, and applications, and do the seamless integration to create a value. In a smart city system, it means connecting right sensors to the right network and applying right data orchestration techniques to create a right solution for the city. I've tried to depict the approach with this diagram that you see on the screen. So for example, if you are making a system, let me take an example of a transport system, right? So what type of telematics devices are required? What type of right cameras are required in order to build a system which is exactly meets the requirement that the city is looking for? So after selecting the right type of sensors, we go back to the next layer. We try to see that what type of networks would be useful for that. And you know that in the world of today, we have options of going with multiple networks. So what could be the right network to suit the sensors that we have selected for? And once we have this connectivity infrastructure in place, what would be the right data orchestration techniques? How do we use the data? How do we mix the data? How do we do the data analytics onto that? And all that we are doing is to create an application which makes some value to the city or the citizens that we are looking for. So this is creating a systems, right? And it's a point solution which definitely has a value. What is next is, I think we all agree beyond doubts that there is a whole world of innovation beyond creating a point solution. So what we do, we take up this role and create system of systems. On this slide, if we go one step ahead to integrate multiple independent systems, as you see in the bottom of this diagram, you have created multiple point solutions or multiple systems, but there is still a value to be explored on. We should go one step ahead to integrate these multiple independent systems and use cross-pollination of data which you are getting from the system to discover new values. In order to do so, we definitely need a central platform to bring data from multiple systems, process it, normalize it, and apply appropriate analytics to give it a meaningful shape. This processed data is used to create a useful dashboard or applications to enable data-driven decisions for efficient operations. The platform also provides the right set of tools to create the application, helping in improve time to market. I think in most of these smart city solutions, prime requirement is how quickly we can build a solution and how quickly we can roll it out. I think as a system integrator or as a master system integrator, you going by this platform approach definitely positions us in such a way that we can utilize the platforms, the features of those platforms for developing those solutions and quickly turn it around. In today's world, the data is the new economy. The processed data that you get on the platform can be monetized in multiple innovative ways. A whole new ecosystem of startups, entrepreneurs, SMEs, industries are developed around this data economy. So data is the most crucial part of any of the system or system of systems that we create on. And above all, because being a master system integrator and working with multiple customers around the globe, we are able to collect the best practices that should be applied and that should be used to build a system of systems. So we bring all these global best practices across domain, and thus we are able to create value for citizens, help the local economy to grow, and above all, I think the most important one is help to enable sustainability, which is the most crucial issues or the things that we are trying to address today. Now I want to share my view as to why an MSI prefers this platform strategy. If you refer to this diagram on your screen, you will realize that a platform enables easy integration of complex system or subsystems. It helps to bring the whole ecosystem of device OEMs, telcos, ISVs, they are brought together to achieve some value. IoT and smart cities need that collaboration, and it is very difficult for one group to achieve the full potential. So it is all the way necessary for building an ecosystem of device manufacturers, networks, software vendors, and bring them together with the help of platform strategy. The platform also provides an opportunity to engage citizens better with the governance, providing real-time access to the information and contributing to the better and efficient operations. If you see the top line, the top block, you will see that these are the benefits that we are extracting out of using a platform strategy. You have the better citizen engagement, providing information. You have the monetization and revenue generation, opportunities. It is helping us to sustainability. It is also developing a local economy linked to the fact that I just said is the data is the new economy. I think more and more data processing opportunities and providing the data to the external world. It is helping us to enable the local economy. So apart from these benefits, technical side, there are multiple things that are limiting us to create a complex ecosystem. So platform approach actually allows us to bring different groups, as I just described, or also building a vertical solutions, also integrating, and that's the most crucial part of it. Integrating with not only the devices, the sensors network, but also to the external interfaces. For example, if you already have an ERP system, a CRS system, which which the city has been using, how do I use that data? How do we use that data? So that is how I think it gives you a central platform where you get all these data integrated through either through the standards known to you or maybe some custom standards developed to integrate that. But the crux of the matter is you get all the data, put that into a platform, mix it or analyze it or source in such a way that it can be used for the creating a value to the end customer. In this case, it could be a citizen, it could be other local SMEs, startups, or whoever it is. So I think I would say that it would not be a very far-fetched sentence if I say that the platform is a city CPU. And what I mean by city CPU, it is controlling and ensuring that a system works and works well for the city. So as a case study, I just wanted to briefly talk about Mahindra World City Jaipur. It's a 3,000 square feet campus developed by our Mahindra Life Spaces Group in the city of Jaipur in India. As an IT arm to our Mahindra Group, we developed a smart campus in about 500 acres of this land. We deployed multiple smart city solutions like parking, meters, the smart buildings, the smart bins, environmental sensors. We also brought in, CCTV security camera. We created a small control and command center. So all this was done to create a model where the operations becomes more efficient. We developed the solution on PTC platform, and we use the platform's capability for the faster development of application, integration with multiple devices, and providing useful dashboards to help the operations team to become more efficient. So I think platform is very, very important. Central CPU, I think it tells a lot about what is the the capability that we can get if we introduce if you adopt the platform strategy, and it has been really helping us to help our customers work onto different projects. So I think with this, I'd like to conclude here. Hope you found it useful and could get some relevant information out of the views that I could share today. Thanks for being with me. Thank you. Now I would like to hand over to Sarah. Back to Sarah. Sarah, please, if you can.
Excellent. Thank you both for great presentations. They were really interesting. So we've had some good questions come in from the audience. So the first one is for you, Scott, and it's something that a lot of people are thinking about at the moment, about how the data stored will work with the new EU GDPR regulations.
All right. Well, I'll do my best to answer that. You can imagine there are experts and probably legal experts that should be consulted, but it's a topic that I'm interested in as well, and I asked of our directly to the people running from the city in Europe, some cities, how is that impacting their program, or is that directive impacting their program? And their answer to me was, it doesn't have any measurable impact on what they're doing, right? Because of the applications that they're bringing out, or the information and dashboards. Obviously, from a platform perspective, it's the directive doesn't impact us, but it impacts the application provider, meaning the company building an application has to use respect or adhere to the data protection guidelines as part of it, as part of the directive. And the element that if you were developing previously with good practices in mind, I think there isn't an impact. Obviously, any new solutions that come to market, if you build an application leveraging information from another application, you have to certainly keep the directive in mind. But just passing on that advice from the cities that they are contently continuing with their plans and the application development that they are working with their vendor community on. So hope that answers your question.
Excellent, thanks, and that's great to definitely get the city view there too, so thank you for that. Sanjeev, this is perhaps one that you could take as you've been through this process. I think a lot of the people that are tuning in are perhaps looking to invest in an IoT platform and get started with that approach. Is there any advice that you would offer to them on choosing the right platform for their needs and how to go about that procurement process?
Sure, Sarah. I think whenever we are considering an IoT platform from an integration perspective, I think there are a few things which are very important, which should be part of an IoT platform. And I know that there are multiple IoT platforms in the market, but I would suggest that any IoT platform should have minimum of few features. And I'm just taking the names of those features. An IoT platform should provide a device management capability. It should also provide a connectivity management capability. It should provide data processing, data processing framework, data analytics. Good to have an application development, because that's a very, very crucial part whenever you are developing an end solution. It should also have an API for external interfaces. As I was just describing, that it's not only the sensors in the network, but also external, existing interfaces which have been there in the system. You can't discard them, so it should provide an API interfaces. And above all, I think if you are using platform and if you're really, wanting to put that to the utmost use, it should provide an API for sharing the data and contributing towards data economy. I'm a firm believer that once we have this these features in place, and if you're able to share the data with the external ecosystem, you would build an ecosystem of startups, SMEs, and so many things. So there's a lot of possibilities if we go by this approach.
Excellent. That's really useful to get your insight. Thank you. And Scott, is there anything that you would add to that, given that you'll be having these discussions with people in these positions every day about considering what they need?
Yeah, and I think Sanjeev's answer was fantastic. I might highlight some real critical capabilities that I think we see in the market, and appreciate exactly what Sanjeev said, that it can be, the term IoT platform is broadly used, and different market players bring sort of different core capability sets. And I just point out that many of the IoT platform providers we showed in the industry research reports are our partners, meaning we work with them, such as Microsoft, Azure, where in AWS, where those kinds of partners are providing cloud scale that is unparalleled, right? What I would point out as additional critical capabilities that the audience needs to think about is, one, deployment flexibility, right? Some of these solutions in some cities need to be on premise. Some might need to be sharing data in a federated architecture, meaning you might have one building sharing some information with another building, two on-premises solutions sharing data up into some sort of, through federated architecture, to a cloud environment, or a view across all of that information, for example. So deployment flexibility. I just reiterate Sanjeev's point around application, speed and enablement to deliver applications, right? And specifically application development is critical, right? You do not want to become master of the entire IoT stack. You want to release solutions quickly and continue to customize and improve those solutions, I should say, continuously improve those solutions. So application development is a critical element. And new innovations. You want your platform provider to be bringing forth meaningful new innovations to win. I think augmented reality is a wonderful example. It is, ability to use your phone or some sort of digital eyewear or your iPad to look at the physical world and have digital information overlaid on top of it. That's a critically important capability for people in field operations, dealing with equipment that doesn't have interface. But it's also an intriguing, fun, exciting way to engage with citizens. Right. So those are just a couple highlights.
Excellent, thank you. We've had another question in about, so on the webinar we've obviously talked about some of the interesting solutions that you can develop using this platform approach and how even more are emerging. But we have some attendees wondering how difficult it is to convince cities to adopt these solutions, or whether there are any challenges in making that a reality. Sanjeev, perhaps you could take that one first.
Yeah, sure, sir. I think I would like to take this question in two different aspects. I think from a city perspective, my personal opinion is that the challenges are not technical ones. I think for smart city, there's a whole lot of shift from the way people have been used to working on and adopting to the new way of working. And it also, the smart city success is dependent on the adaptability of the solution by the citizens, by the, by the maybe the local, the government officials. So it's a big change in to adopt the technology. It's a more, sometimes you need some training, some professional approach also to adopt to the solution. This is primarily, I mean, I would say that this is a challenge that every city is facing. From a technology perspective, I think I just shared my views that there are no standard protocols. I mean, the protocols are still, I mean, there are a lot of ambiguities in selecting those protocols and diverse ecosystem of devices. Many time compatibility challenges are there, integration challenges are there. Of course, you can't resolve all the issues, but going by a platform strategy, I think you should be able to handle most of them and come up with a solution. I think also go and talk to the city, go and talk to the citizens, go and talk to the right stakeholders, and bring them to a level where they are open to change. And once they change, I'm sure that all the smart city solutions have a great potential value there.
Excellent. And Scott, from your discussions with cities and customers that are suppliers to cities, would you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, and again, I agree, with everything Sanjeev said, and just to add a few other thoughts. Cities are open to new technology, and they have, innovation districts and streets, so they're willing to pilot new technology. I would encourage everyone on the line who is thinking of bringing a new solution out to not go away in a lab and, spend a year building a solution and then bringing it to the city to see if it meets their needs, but to try and do a very fast, iterative approach, right? Leverage your business experience, your understanding of the challenge, visit, perhaps PTC's ThingWorx developer portal, build out that, that business logic for the city that you're, looking to deliver, and engage the city around it. And my guess is that they'll be very willing to provide feedback and position yourself through a platform to iterate, incorporate that new change, and deliver it back to the city. They are, they're open to ideas for pilot, and we want to be a partner to you in enabling you to bring those ideas to market very quickly, without requiring you to have expertise across every element of the IoT stack, but rather just to enable you to take your business understanding or your needs, the challenges that the city's facing, and put that into an application easily.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Scott, we've had someone ask one of the most pressing topics in IoT at the moment, and they've asked how the ThingWorx platform handles security.
It's, security is a huge topic, right? And it's hard maybe to summarize in a very, Q&A session. And I'd welcome you to go to the PTC website and access some of our security white papers. When I think of security, I think of three key pieces of architecture that, a platform can help you deliver security around for your solutions. So first is, just to go through it, just to demonstrate how a platform can bring good security practices to your solution. One around device communication, or devices and communication, ensuring that communications can be device initiated and encrypted, so that remote attackers can have can't access the device on the internet, right? So just good practices around device communications. Providing you with the ability to update software patches on a device, that's critical. If you're maintaining a device in the field, you need to ensure that it's software updates, and a platform gives you that mechanism for delivering software updates. And then finally, authorization, right? So what users and organizations can have access to not only the application, but certain elements of the data within the application. So making those, authorization and privileges easy to maintain. So that, a platform can bring that instantly to you. So that type of security and well beyond it.
Excellent. So it seems from when we were speaking to people to create our report that one of the key advantages that they saw of IoT platforms is that they allow them to focus on what they do best as a company, so they don't need to be experts in IoT and analytics and that kind of thing. The platform handles a lot of the things, fundamental things for them. I just wondered, Scott, how you see IoT platforms developing in the future to support this even further.
Yeah, and I think that's a great question. I think there's room for a lot of ecosystem providers, right? There are analytics for different scenarios, and I think an IoT platform becomes a mechanism for you to not only get new capabilities directly through that platform, but be in a position to bring new technologies and integrate that in through the platform. So as, specialized analytics packages maybe, relevant to your business case or become available, or new particular algorithms, analytics algorithms, you can adopt those. And so I think that's a fundamental piece of the platform, is not only providing analytics as part of its offering, but enabling you to flexibly integrate in with other analytics packages as well. No one vendor can do this all. is a good perspective.
Excellent. Well, I think that's the questions that we have time for today. We have had a couple of people commenting that they'd be interested in a demo of the platform, which we don't have time for today, but of course we'll be able to follow that up after the webinar to make sure that we can make that happen. So yes, thank you everyone for tuning in today. Thank you Scott and Sanjeev for your great presentations and interaction. Just a reminder to everyone, we'll follow up by email with a link to the on-demand webinar so you can listen again. And thank you once again everyone for taking part in the webcast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.